The jungle was on fire, and the sky above it wept light. Commander Nathan Hale stumbled through the smoke, visor cracked, armor slick with rain and blood. The air here wasn't meant for humans. It clung to his lungs like molten syrup, heavy with the scent of iron and flowers that bloomed only in the heat of destruction. His squad was gone, lost to the ambush that came from the trees, shadows that moved faster than thought. He should have died with them. But something had dragged him clear of the flames. Something that breathed like a predator and moved like poetry. He pressed a trembling hand to his chest, feeling the bruise of impact where the plasma round had struck. The forest hissed around him, leaves steaming, ground trembling beneath the stampede of retreating life. Then the sound came again. Not the crack of weapon fire, not the hiss of flame, but the whisper of claws over wet stone. He turned, weapon raised, and saw her. She crouched low in the rain, muscles coiled beneath skin the color of molten bronze. Black markings curled across her arms and face, ink that seemed to shift when the light struck it. Her hair, wild and red as the fire itself, clung to her shoulders. The rain did not touch her. Her eyes, golden and slit like a feline's, fixed on him with an intensity that made the weapon in his hands feel like a child's toy. "You smell exquisite," she murmured, her voice low and rich, carrying across the thunder. "Your skin must be soft." Nathan's finger tightened on the trigger. "Don't move." She tilted her head, unbothered. "You are the first human I've met who speaks before dying." He swallowed, backing away until his boots splashed in shallow water. "Who are you?" "You're Hunter," she said simply, rising from her crouch. "The others ran. You stayed. That makes you prey worth knowing." "Knowing?" he echoed, trying to keep his voice steady. "You mean killing." Her smile was small, curious. "Killing is knowing. Flesh remembers." Before he could react, she moved, one blur of motion, and his rifle was gone, clattering across the stones. She stood close enough for him to see the faint luminescence beneath her skin, veins that glowed like amber through translucent flesh. Her breath was warm, sweet with the scent of crushed fruit. She leaned close, nostrils flaring. "So fragile," she whispered. "So loud, your heart." He braced for the strike, for teeth or blade, but none came. She stepped back, eyes narrowing. "And yet you did not beg. Strange." Nathan drew a slow breath. "If you wanted me dead, I'd be dead already." "Yes," she said, pacing in a slow circle around him. "I wanted to see what a human does when cornered." He turned with her, careful not to make sudden moves. "And what do you think?" Her gaze sharpened. "I think you are an animal that pretends to understand fear." He couldn't help a humorless laugh. "I understand it fine." "Then why do you hide it?" "Because it doesn't help," he said. "It never does." She stopped behind him, voice softer now. "You fight like my kind before the Covenant, before we learned mercy was just another form of weakness." He looked back at her. "I'm not interested in mercy. Just survival." Her eyes met his. "Then we are the same." Thunder rolled overhead, shaking the burning canopy. For a moment, neither spoke. Rain hissed through smoke, steam rising from charred roots. The world felt reduced to pulse and breath. Then she turned toward the deeper forest. "Come," she said. "If you stay, the others will find you. Their teeth are less patient than mine." He hesitated. "You want me to follow you?" "Unless you prefer to die alone." He hesitated a second longer, then followed. The jungle swallowed them both, firelight fading behind into the blue darkness of rain and ruin. They moved in silence for what felt like hours. The terrain grew uneven, roots twisting through stone, air thickening with bioluminescent spores. The deeper they went, the more the world changed. Trees hummed with faint sound, their bark alive with crawling light. Nathan realized that the planet's ecosystem wasn't dying, it was reacting, communicating. She led him into a cavern where waterfalls of light spilled from the ceiling, each droplet shimmering like captured stars. "Here," she said, glancing over her shoulder. Your lungs will stop hurting. He removed his cracked helmet cautiously. The air was cooler here, cleaner. He exhaled, feeling the first true breath he'd taken since landing on this cursed world. What is this place? A wound, she said. One my people made long before your kind came. He looked around, scanning the bioluminescent walls. You sound like you regret it. Her expression flickered, something between pride and pain. Regret is for those who believe in forgiveness. And you don't. She met his gaze. We are hunters. We do not forgive hunger. He studied her. You keep saying, we. Where are the others? Scattered, she said. Our war ended long before yours began. Now we hunt ghosts and gods. He nodded slowly. And me. Her lips curved faintly. You are neither. Silence stretched again, thick but not hostile. Nathan crouched beside the glowing pool, letting the cool water run over his hands. He saw his reflection ripple, human, scarred, trembling, and behind it, her reflection like a flame waiting to devour the dark. You saved me, he said finally. Why? She tilted her head. Perhaps curiosity. Perhaps instinct. Or pity, he asked. She laughed, a low, resonant sound. We do not pity what we admire. He looked up sharply. Admire. You fight against extinction as if it can be reasoned with, she said. Most species kneel when death comes. You build monuments. Monuments don't save lives, he said. No, she said softly. But they make dying mean something. That is your power. Her words settled like embers in his chest. He realized she wasn't mocking him. She was studying him, dissecting what made humanity worth hunting. He stood slowly. What's your name? Her eyes flicked away, almost shy. Names are for those who expect to be remembered. I'll remember, he said. She blinked. You shouldn't. Why not? Because I may still eat you, she said, though the threat sounded hollow now. He smiled despite himself. You'd have done it already. Her mouth twitched. Do not tempt me. For a heartbeat, the tension broke, something fragile, almost human passing between them. Then she turned abruptly, hair catching the light like fire through water. Rest, she said. At dawn, I will take you to the edge of your territory. Then our hunt ends. And after that? He asked. She looked back at him. After that, I decide if I let it. She vanished into the deeper shadows of the cavern, leaving him with the fading echo of her voice and the slow rhythm of alien light across the walls. Nathan lay down beside the glowing water, exhaustion overtaking vigilance. As sleep claimed him, he dreamed, not of earth, not of war, but of eyes like molten gold watching him through the rain, whispering words that somehow didn't sound like threat anymore, but prophecy. When Nathan woke, the world was humming. Not the deep mechanical thrum of engines or the distant thunder of battle, but something alive, vibrating softly through the stone beneath him. The cavern pulsed with faint light, each rhythm syncing with his breath. For a moment, he wondered if it was just the aftermath of shock or fever. Then he realized it wasn't in his mind. The sound was everywhere. He sat up, rubbing his temples. The air smelled faintly of ozone and wet earth. Lyrian, if she had ever told him her name, he would have remembered, was standing near the edge of the pool, half silhouetted by the glow. Her back was to him, muscles marked by swirling black ink that shifted slightly when she moved. She was sharpening a blade that looked grown rather than forged, organic, curved, and alive with veins of faint amber light. She turned her head slightly when he stirred. You dream loudly, she said. He blinked. You can hear that? Her eyes caught his reflection in the water. Your body sings while you sleep. Every memory has a pitch. Humans are unshielded. He frowned. That's poetic. It's dangerous, she said. You bleed emotion into the air like prey that's forgotten it's hunted. He met her gaze. And you? What do you bleed? She smiled faintly. Silence. The word lingered like smoke between them. He stood slowly, every muscle stiff. You said you'd take me to the edge of our territory. I did, she replied. But the others are near. They smell the ash on you. They will want your bones. Nathan took a cautious step closer. You mean your people? Her jaw tightened. What's left of them? The hunters do not forgive weakness. To spare you was betrayal. Then why did you do it? He asked. She looked down at her reflection in the pool. Because you looked at me and didn't see a monster. The honesty in her tone caught him off guard. He took another step forward. Maybe I just didn't see the whole picture. She sheathed her blade. Then you are wiser than most. They left the cavern soon after, following a winding path through the bioluminescent undergrowth. The forest was quieter now. Even the creatures that once roared from the shadows had retreated deeper, wary of the lingering heat. Rain dripped from vines, catching faint sparks of blue fire that flitted like insects. Nathan kept pace beside her. She moved silently, each motion precise. He tried to match her, failing miserably as branches snapped beneath his boots. You walk like the air's afraid of you, he said. She glanced at him. And you walk like you want the world to know where you are. He smirked. Old habit. The louder soldier survives the ambush. Her expression softened. Perhaps. But the quiet one survives the aftermath. They reached a clearing where the ground sloped downward into mist. The horizon glowed faintly orange, the fire line where the battle still burned beyond sight. Lyrian stopped, scanning the distance. Your people will come when the storm clears. They always do. He nodded. You say that like it's a curse. It is, she murmured. You rebuild too quickly. Even your ruins refuse to stay dead. He looked at her profile, the strong lines, the strange markings that pulsed with life beneath her skin. We have to. It's how we remember. She turned to him. Do you remember the ones you killed? His chest tightened. Every one. Then you are like us, she said. We keep our kills in our blood. It's why we paint ourselves. He studied the black markings on her arms. Those aren't tattoos, are they? No, she said. They are memories. Of what? Of everyone I've ever hunted. He swallowed hard. Then why isn't there one for me? Her lips curved slightly. Because I haven't decided what you are yet. He met her gaze steadily. Then decide. For a moment, the air between them crackled, neither threat nor promise, but something older. The kind of tension that exists between predators who have stopped pretending they're enemies. Then the ground trembled. A deep, low rumble rolled through the forest. She stiffened, eyes flashing gold. They've found us. Your people. No, she said. Something worse. From the mist ahead came shapes, hulking, metallic, crawling on too many limbs. Drones. Human-made but corrupted. The scavenger kind that absorbed organic matter to rebuild themselves. Nathan cursed under his breath. Those were supposed to be offline. They aren't, she said grimly. And they can smell heat. Then we run, he said, raising his weapon. She shook her head. You run. I hunt. Not alone, he said, stepping beside her. Her eyes widened a fraction. You're wounded. He checked the charge on his rifle. Still breathing. For the first time, she looked almost uncertain. You don't know what they do to flesh. I've seen it, he said. Now move. They fought back to back as the first drones broke through the mist, spindly, glistening, eyes glowing red. Lyrian moved like lightning, her blade slicing through metal as if it were bone. Sparks rained in every direction. Nathan fired in tight bursts, each shot punctuated by the thud of his heartbeat. The air filled with the smell of ozone and burning oil. One of the machines lunged for him. Before he could react, she was there, snapping its neck plating with bare hands, molten circuitry splattering her skin. She hissed, the glow of her markings flaring brighter. "Are you hurt?" he shouted. Her eyes burned. "Only awake." The battle was brief but brutal. When the last drone collapsed, twitching in its own sparks, silence returned. Lyrian stood over the wreckage, chest rising and falling. Her skin steamed, markings alive with shifting fire. Nathan lowered his weapon, breathing hard. "You're bleeding light," he said. She looked down. Amber fluid seeped from the cuts along her arms, glowing faintly. "It's nothing." He stepped closer. "It doesn't look like nothing." She watched him warily as he reached out. His hand hovered near her arm before she gave the slightest nod. He touched the edge of a wound. It was warm, almost humming. Her breath caught, not in pain, but surprise. "Your flesh hums," he murmured. Her voice came low, almost a growl. "Yours shivers." Their eyes met, and for an instant, the battlefield ceased to exist. The fire, the rain, the smoke, all of it fell away, leaving only the sound of breath and pulse and the electric space between them. Then she pulled back sharply, turning away. "We must go," she said, "before more come." He followed in silence, his mind a storm of questions he couldn't voice. They trekked for hours until the firelight faded behind them. The jungle opened into a plateau where the stars hung heavy and strange above. She stopped, staring upward. "This world was once called Nira," she said softly. "It meant hunger's cradle." He looked up at the same stars. "And now?" "Now it means home of ghosts." She turned to him. "If your people return, they will strip it clean. They always do." He met her gaze. "Maybe not this time." "Why?" she asked. "Because I'll tell them not to." Her smile was weary. "You think they listen to you?" He shrugged. "Sometimes. When I'm loud enough." She stepped closer, studying him. "You are a strange creature, Nathan Hale. You face extinction and speak of mercy." He looked at her. "You saved me. You don't get to call mercy strange." Her expression softened. "Perhaps I wanted to see if the stories were true." "What stories?" "That humans taste of hope." He blinked. "You were going to eat me?" Her lips curved faintly. "Once. Now I'm not sure it would end well for me." He laughed quietly. "No. Probably not." She smiled fully then, a rare, fierce thing that made the night seem brighter. "Rest," she said. "At dawn, you return to your kind. And you. I remain with mine. What's left of them." He hesitated. "I could help." "You already have," she said, turning away. "You made me remember hunger isn't always a curse." He watched her walk toward the shadows until the light from her markings faded into the dark. For the first time since landing on Nira, he felt the impossible weight of wonder. The dawn broke crimson over the shattered horizon. Light dripped through the fractured canopy in slow, trembling rays, gilding the mist that clung to the forest floor. Nathan watched from the ridge as steam rose from scorched soil and twisted metal, the remains of the drones they'd fought the night before. Their bodies lay half-submerged in the mud, vines already creeping over them, as though the planet itself refused to let their ruin last. Lyrian stood several paces ahead, framed by the rising sun. Her skin caught the light and threw it back in waves of bronze and amber. The markings across her body shifted with slow, living movement, almost like they breathed. For a long while, neither spoke. There was only the wind, heavy with the scent of rain and metal, and the faint, rhythmic hum of her pulse in the air. He found himself memorizing the way she moved, balanced between grace and readiness, like a storm deciding whether to strike. He didn't know if she was preparing to guide him back to safety or to vanish into the wilderness forever. The thought unsettled him more than he cared to admit. When she finally turned, her gaze met his, sharp and quiet. "Your people will come soon. I can smell the metal in the sky." He looked up instinctively. "Dropships." "Many," she said. They bring fire to cleanse their mistakes. Nathan's gut clenched. Command said the retrieval teams would wait for signal confirmation. They didn't, she said flatly. They never do. He frowned, scanning the horizon. The air shimmered faintly, not heat, but the subtle distortion of atmospheric descent. He could almost taste the charged ions. If they bomb the area, they'll ignite the root veins, he said grimly. The whole biosphere could go up. Lyrian's expression didn't change. Then your world will add another corpse to its history. He turned toward her, desperate. You can help me stop them. Your people must know how to intercept the signals. Her eyes narrowed. You ask me to betray what remains of my kind for yours? I'm asking you to save us both, he said. This world doesn't need another war. She stepped closer until they were almost face to face. And what would you give in return, human? He hesitated. Whatever you ask. Her voice dropped to a whisper. Careful. My kind once made humans bleed truth for less. I'm serious, he said quietly. If I can call them off, if I can get them to see this planet for what it is, we can stop the burn. Her expression softened, not with belief, but with something like reluctant admiration. You speak as though you've already won. I have to, he said. That's how humans survive. For a heartbeat, she studied him, unreadable. Then she turned sharply. Follow me. They descended into the forest again, deeper than before. The air grew warmer, colors shifting from green to gold as bioluminescent spores drifted through the mist. Lyrian moved quickly, the markings on her arms pulsing in rhythm with the soft hum around them. Nathan followed, keeping pace despite the growing ache in his chest. Finally, they reached a clearing dominated by a colossal tree, or what had once been a tree. Its trunk had fused with ancient machinery, metal veins winding through bark, its roots glowing with embedded crystal cores. Lyrian placed a hand against it, and light flared beneath her palm. This is the heart of the forest, she said. Before the wars, it connected everything on this planet. Breath, soil, sky. My people used it to speak to the stars. He stared in awe. A planetary network. Her eyes flicked toward him. Your word for it is crude, but yes. Can it transmit a signal? It can speak to anything that listens. He stepped closer. Then we can reach my fleet. She tilted her head. And tell them what? That the monsters they came to exterminate learned to bleed light instead of blood. That there's life worth saving here, he said. That maybe we're not the only species capable of mercy. She was silent for a long moment, her gaze lingering on him. Then she sighed. You are a strange kind of warrior, Nathan Hale. He smiled faintly. I get that a lot. She turned back to the tree. Help me open the resonance. How? By listening. Before he could ask, she pressed his hand against the glowing surface. A jolt ran through him, not pain, but sensation, deep and ancient. His vision blurred, he saw flashes of light, voices echoing like songs underwater. Images burst behind his eyes, cities of living stone, oceans that sang, skies torn by fire. And through it all, the same pulse, the planet's heartbeat. When his vision cleared, Lyrian was watching him. You heard it. He nodded, breathless. It's alive. All worlds are, she said softly. Most simply stop trying to speak. He looked down at their joined hands, her skin glowing faintly beneath his. What now? Now, she said. You speak for it. He closed his eyes and focused on the signal. The frequencies thrummed through his bones, chaotic at first, then aligning like magnetic fields. He felt his calm implant react, sinking to the resonance. Static filled his mind, followed by a burst of code. He recognized the encryption immediately, the fleet's emergency channel. This is Commander Hale, he said aloud, voice trembling. To any fleet vessel in range. Abort cleansing operation. Repeat, abort. Planetary biostructure is sentient. The fire will destroy an intelligent ecosystem. Silence answered him. He tried again, heart pounding. This is hail. If you can hear me, respond. I am not compromised. I am not. A burst of static cut through. Then a voice, clipped, human, cold. Commander, your signal is unauthorized. Extraction team inbound. Evacuation in 5 minutes. Secure yourself. Damn it. He slammed a fist against the tree. They're not listening. Lyrian's gaze flickered with faint sadness. They never do. He turned to her. We can still show them. If they see this, the forest, the life, maybe they'll understand. She shook her head. Your species sees only what it can claim. Then I'll make them see more. Before she could stop him, he adjusted his comm output, forcing the signal wideband. The planet's resonance screamed through him, flooding every channel with light and sound. His vision burned white as his body became conduit, human biology bridging alien frequency. Nathan! Lyrian's voice cut through the static. She grabbed him, pulling him away from the core. Sparks leapt between them, searing the air. You'll destroy yourself, he gasped, barely conscious. If it stops the bombs, it's worth it. Her eyes widened. You would die for this world? For you, he said, the words torn from him before thought. The light flared, enveloping them both. When it faded, the forest was silent. The signal died. The air felt lighter, emptier. Nathan collapsed, skin glowing faintly from the energy still coursing through him. Lyrian knelt beside him, hands trembling as she brushed his hair from his face. Foolish, she whispered. Beautifully foolish. He coughed weakly. Did it work? She looked to the sky. The distant roar of engines still thundered, then, one by one, the sounds faded. The clouds parted, revealing the glint of ships turning away. They're leaving, she said softly. He smiled faintly. Told you. She stared down at him, torn between awe and fury. You burned yourself to stop them. He tried to laugh but ended up coughing. Guess I needed to prove humans aren't all monsters. Her expression softened. No, she said quietly. Just one very stubborn one. He grinned weakly. You'd know. She laughed then, a low, unguarded sound that made the forest seem to exhale. She touched his cheek, the warmth of her hand almost painful. Rest now. The forest will heal you. I thought you said it eats the dead, he murmured. Her eyes glowed faintly. You're not dead yet. As his consciousness slipped, he felt the hum of the planet beneath him. Slower now, calmer, almost grateful. Somewhere in the distance, rain began to fall again, carrying the scent of renewal. When he woke, it was night. The sky above glowed with alien constellations. He turned his head and saw her sitting beside him, legs crossed, blade resting on her knees. Her markings had dimmed to soft gray, her eyes watching the stars. You stayed, he said weakly. I said the hunt wasn't over, she replied. Am I still prey? She looked at him, eyes soft with something he couldn't name. No, she said. Now you are proof. He frowned. Of what? That not all hunger destroys. The rain returned the next day, thick and silver, falling in sheets that shimmered like molten glass. It washed the soot from the leaves, cooled the scarred earth, and cloaked the jungle in soft light that blurred the line between life and memory. Nathan sat propped against a stone, bandaged with strips of alien cloth that pulsed faintly in rhythm with his heartbeat. His body still thrummed from the resonance, each breath a whisper of static. But he could stand again, and for now, that was enough. Lyrian moved through the clearing like a spirit given form. She was gathering pieces of the shattered drones, salvaging the least corrupted metal and twisting it into new shapes with her bare hands. The heat that rippled from her skin softened the alloy until it bent under her grip. When he asked her what she was building, she only said, something that listens. He watched her work in silence, rain hissing as it touched her glowing markings. You don't seem surprised that your forest spared me, he said finally. She didn't look up. The forest remembers gratitude. It knows who fed it light instead of fire. I didn't feed it anything, he said. I just made noise until someone noticed. That is what feeding means, she murmured. To give what you can, even when it is not enough. He smiled faintly. You sound human when you say things like that. She paused, tilting her head. You say that as if it's a compliment. It is, he said. She turned to him then, eyes like molten gold. Strange. My people used to think humanity was disease, a hunger that built worlds only to devour them again. Not entirely wrong, he admitted. But we learn. Slowly. Too slowly, she said, but her tone lacked bitterness. And yet, you stopped the fire. We stopped it, he corrected. She studied him for a long moment, then turned away, resuming her work. Perhaps, she said softly. The air between them carried a new kind of silence, no longer wary, but charged with unspoken understanding. When she finished assembling the object, she held it up to the light. It was a sphere of woven alloy and living roots, pulsing faintly with bioluminescent veins. A listener, she said. It will hear the next storm before it comes. He frowned. Storm. She nodded toward the sky. Your fleet may have left, but they will return. They always return. Then we'll be ready, he said. Her gaze met his, unreadable. We. He hesitated, then shrugged. You think I'd survive out here without you? Her lips curved slightly. I think you would try, loudly. Probably die doing it, he said. Probably, she agreed, and for the first time, he saw her smile without shadow. They spent the next days rebuilding what the fire had broken. Nathan helped where he could, learning to weave the glowing vines into structures that hardened when cooled. Lyrian taught him how to listen, to the hum beneath his feet, to the rhythm of the rain, to the voices of insects that carried messages through vibration. The forest speaks in frequencies, she explained. Your machines use the same language, only louder. One evening, as the sun bled out behind the trees, she found him by the riverbank, staring at the reflection of distant stars in the black water. You miss them, she said. He nodded. My crew. My world. The noise. Noise is easy to miss, she said. Silence is harder to survive. He looked at her. You've done both. She crouched beside him, her reflection flickering beside his. I had to. The silence was all that was left after the war. He hesitated. The covenant you mentioned, what was it? Her eyes darkened. A promise that we would become more than beasts. We believed if we consumed enough, conquered enough, we would evolve. Instead, we devoured ourselves. Your people turned on each other? She nodded. Hunger has no loyalty. The strong ate the weak. The clever ate the strong. I survived because I refused to eat at all. He stared at her in disbelief. You starved yourself? I learned to feed on memory instead, she said softly. It is bitter, but it lasts. He looked down at the scars on her arms, tracing the swirling black lines. Those marks, you said they're memories of hunts. Are mine there now? Her voice was quiet. No. You are not a hunt. What am I? She didn't answer right away. Then she touched the space over her heart. An echo, she said. Something I can still hear when everything else falls silent. For a long time, neither spoke. The rain deepened, soft and constant, drumming against the water like a heartbeat. The peace didn't last. On the fourth night, the sky flared with light, cold, sterile, artificial. The forest trembled as a sonic boom rolled across the canopy. Nathan looked up, heart sinking. Dropships, he said. Lyrian's markings flared bright crimson. You said they would not return so soon. I said I hoped they wouldn't, he replied grimly. Command must have tracked my signal. She turned to him, eyes sharp. Then they will burn again. He shook his head. No. Not if I reach them first. You cannot, she said. They will shoot you down before you speak. Then you'll have to help me, he said. Her jaw tightened. If I reveal myself to them, they will see only a weapon. Then prove them wrong, he said. Like you proved me wrong. She stared at him, torn between fury and belief. Then, finally, she nodded. One chance, she said. If they raise their guns, I will not hold back. Fair, he said. They moved through the forest, guided by the roar of engines and the growing glow of floodlights cutting through the trees. The dropships had landed near the old battlefield, the same ridge where he had first seen her. The scent of scorched earth hung heavy in the air. Soldiers in environmental armor swept the perimeter, rifles glowing faintly under the rain. Nathan stepped out first, weapon lowered, hands raised. Commander Hale, ID code Gamma 47, he called through his comm, hold your fire. The soldiers froze. A voice crackled through the nearest speaker. Commander? You're alive. For now, he said. Stand down. There's been a mistake. A figure approached through the haze. Captain Lorne, his former superior. Her visor retracted, revealing a face lined by exhaustion and disbelief. You were presumed dead, she said. We picked up corrupted signals, thought you'd been compromised. Not compromised, he said. Enlightened. She frowned. What? He gestured toward the shadows behind him. There's someone you need to meet. Lyrian stepped forward. The soldiers reacted instantly, rifles raised, safeties disengaged. Her presence lit the mist in molten gold. The air vibrated with low-frequency tension. Hold! Nathan shouted. She's not the enemy. Lorne's expression hardened. That's the Huntress from the scans, isn't it? The one that tore through Delta Squad. That wasn't her fault, he said. She saved me. She killed 20 men. She killed machines, Nathan said. And she saved the rest of us from burning this planet alive. Lorne's eyes narrowed. Step away from it, Commander. I won't, he said. Lyrian's gaze swept over the soldiers. No fear, only weary inevitability. You see only prey, she murmured. Even when it speaks. Lorne raised her rifle. Stand down, or I'll. Nathan moved before she could finish. He stepped between them, hands outstretched. If you fire, you'll prove her right. Move, Hale. No. Lightning split the sky. The storm roared. For a moment, the entire world seemed suspended between breaths. Then Lorne lowered her weapon. You'd better be damn sure about this, she said. I am, he replied. Lyrian stepped closer, her glow dimming to a steady, gentle pulse. Your commander is brave, she said softly to Lorne. Do not punish him for believing in what he sees. Lorne stared at her for a long, tense moment. Then she exhaled, signaling her squad to lower their weapons. Fine. But we're not staying. Command will want a full debrief. Nathan nodded. Understood. But the planet stays untouched. Lorne looked uncertain. You don't have that authority. Then I'll take it, he said. Lyrian's gaze lingered on him, unreadable. You would defy your kind for me. For what's right, he said. She smiled faintly. Perhaps those are the same thing. As the dropships powered down and the soldiers began to pack their gear, Nathan felt the rain ease, turning to mist. The air smelled cleaner. Above them, the clouds thinned, revealing a strip of night sky where alien constellations burned like promises. For the first time, Lyrian reached out, not to test or threaten, but to touch. Her hand brushed his, light as breath. When the next storm comes, she said, I will remember that a human once taught the Huntress to see. And I'll remember, he said, that an alien taught me what mercy looks like. She tilted her head, eyes bright with something he could almost name. And what does it look like? He smiled. Like you. Her laughter was soft, disbelieving, and achingly alive. It echoed through the jungle long after the soldiers were gone. The storm had passed, leaving the world rinsed in silver. Morning spilled gently through the canopy, light weaving through wet leaves like threads of glass. Nathan sat beside the river, armor stripped away, bare hands resting on the stone. The water that ran past him glowed faintly with bioluminescent currents, carrying fragments of old ash downstream. The forest was breathing again. Every sound, the whisper of vines, the low hum of the trees, the slow flutter of alien wings, felt like a heartbeat coming back to life. Lyrian stood in the water up to her knees, eyes half closed, palms turned upward. Her markings pulsed faintly with every ripple, each breath sinking to the pulse of the river. He had watched her do this every dawn since the soldiers left, a ritual, silent and deliberate, like she was tuning herself back to the planet's rhythm. When she looked at him, water streamed down her skin in silver ribbons. "You are restless," she said. He smiled faintly. "You can hear that too?" "I can feel it," she said. "The way your blood stirs when you are about to leave." He glanced toward the clearing beyond the trees where the retrieval beacon blinked faintly in the mist. "The fleet will send a shuttle soon. Captain Lorne promised they'd honor the ceasefire." Lyrian stepped closer, water breaking around her legs in ripples of light. "Ceasefire is not peace. It is only the breath between hunts. I'll try to make it more than that," he said quietly. "I owe you that much." She tilted her head, studying him. "You owe me nothing. You burned for this world. The forest remembers your name. That is debt enough." He stood, walking toward her until the cold water soaked through his boots. "You think memory is enough? That after all this, we just go our separate ways and pretend we didn't change each other?" Her eyes glowed softly. "Change is what the hunt demands." He shook his head. "No. Change is what life demands." For a moment, neither spoke. The only sound was the quiet rhythm of the river. Then she said, "You speak like one who intends to come back." "I do," he said simply. "Maybe not soon. But someday." Lyrian looked past him, toward the horizon where the sky burned faintly gold. "Your kind never returns the same." He smiled. "Then I'll return better." Her lips curved in that half-smile he'd learned to read, part disbelief, part admiration. "Humans," she murmured, "always making promises to the impossible." He took another step closer, the space between them shrinking until he could see his reflection shimmering in her golden eyes. "You taught me to see the impossible," he said. For the first time, she looked away, and he realized she was afraid, not of him, but of what the moment meant. "If you go," she said softly, "your people will not let you keep me alive in their records. They will bury this place beneath names that sound like victories." "Then I'll write my own record," he said. "And I'll start it with your name." She hesitated, then whispered, "Lyrian." He repeated it, reverent. "Lyrian." Something changed when he said it aloud. The air shimmered faintly, as if the forest itself had acknowledged the sound. Her gaze returned to him, and there was no armor left between them, no hunger, no hunt, only recognition. "Now you carry me," she said. He smiled softly. "Always." They climbed the ridge together to watch the sunrise. The jungle stretched beneath them in endless shades of green and gold, mist curling through the trees like breath. Far beyond the horizon, he could see the glint of metal, human ships waiting in orbit, patient, uncertain. "They'll call me mad," he said quietly. "Are you?" she asked. He thought about it, then laughed. "Probably." Her expression softened. "Then perhaps madness is the first truth we share." They stood in silence as the sun climbed higher. The world was quiet except for the hum of life returning. When the retrieval shuttle finally pierced the clouds, it descended slowly, engines whispering instead of roaring, as if even the machines had learned reverence. Nathan turned to her. "This isn't goodbye. Words are fragile," she said. "They break when stretched too far." "Then let them break," he said. the meaning stays. She looked at him for a long, unblinking moment, then stepped close enough that the glow of her markings brushed his chest. In my language, she said, there is no word for farewell, only for distance measured by heartbeat. He reached up, touching the side of her face. Then we won't measure it too far. Her eyes softened, and for the first time, she leaned forward until her forehead rested lightly against his. The air between them vibrated, a low, resonant sound that wasn't quite voice, wasn't quite thought. It was recognition, pure and wordless. When she pulled back, there was a faint shimmer between them, like two frequencies aligning for the briefest instant before diverging again. Go, she said, before your courage becomes memory. He hesitated. I'll come back. I know, she said quietly. That is why it hurts. The shuttle landed with a hiss of steam. Lorne waited by the ramp, her posture rigid, her expression unreadable. We're clear, she said. No hostiles detected. Nathan gave a short nod, glancing back one last time. Lyrian stood by the ridge, haloed by sunlight, the rain scattering light around her in 1,000 colors. She didn't wave. She didn't need to. As he climbed aboard, Lorne said, Command won't like what they hear. They'll listen, he said. She raised an eyebrow. Because you'll tell them an alien saved your life? Because I'll tell them she saved theirs, he said. The shuttle rose, engines humming softly. Through the viewport, he watched the jungle recede, the river winding like a silver scar through green flesh. Lyrian's light was the last thing he saw before the clouds swallowed her world. Months passed. Earth's capital buzzed with the noise of triumph, news feeds blaring headlines about successful containment and new biotechnological findings from Nera. Nathan spent the hearings in silence, answering only when forced. He told them what they wanted to hear: no hostile entities remaining, native ecosystems stable, potential for colonization minimal. The truth was too large for their vocabulary. When the sessions ended, he disappeared. The official report listed him as on extended leave. Unofficially, he was building again, a ship designed for one, its hull threaded with alien alloy that pulsed faintly like veins beneath skin. It responded to him, singing softly in the hangar's dim light. He set the course for the outer Perseid expanse, beyond the reach of fleet patrols. They said there was nothing there but drifting wreckage and dead stars. He knew better. During the voyage, he dreamt of her, sometimes as light, sometimes as voice. Once, he woke to find her markings etched faintly across his arm, glowing and then fading as though burned into his blood. He didn't question it. He had stopped questioning miracles the day she spared his life. When the ship emerged from jump, the sensors lit up, not with noise, but with song. Before him floated a structure half organic, half crystalline, suspended in the void. It pulsed with colors he had no names for. As he approached, the calm crackled with a voice that wasn't transmitted so much as remembered. You returned, she said. He smiled through tears he hadn't realized were forming. Told you I would. The hunt is over, she whispered. No, he said. It's only changed. The ship drifted closer until the light engulfed him. He felt the same hum that had once passed between them on the ridge, stronger now, infinite. His heartbeat synchronized to it, and for a moment, he was both man and memory, breath and resonance. Her presence wrapped around him, no longer flesh and bone but something larger, woven into the fabric of the cosmos. You smell exquisite, she murmured, her old words reborn, softened by awe. Your skin must be soft. He laughed, trembling. You sound alive. I am, she said. Because you remembered. The light flared, brighter than any sun, gentle as touch. The human and the Huntress vanished into it, their frequencies merging into a single harmonic that rolled through the dark like a heartbeat strong enough to echo between worlds. And somewhere, in the forests of Nera, flowers began to bloom again, glowing faintly pink and gold, releasing a scent like rain and memory. Those who wandered near swore the air itself whispered in a voice half human, half divine. Beauty was never the prey. It was the reason to stop hunting.